Hey friends, welcome to another Coffee Ride Chit Chat. Today I want to talk about cycling and anxiety. If you ride bikes, you probably know that cycling is actually a really incredible way to work with anxiety. All the studies show that cycling improves not only your physical health, but your mental health, increases your feelings of satisfaction and happiness in your life. So cycling is obviously a great thing to turn to if you struggle with anxiety. But something we don't talk about very often is what happens when cycling is the cause of your anxiety. Now, if you've been riding for very long, I'm sure you've had experiences like this, where for whatever reasons during a certain season of your life, getting on the bike feels really hard and truly kind of scary. Maybe you're coming back from an injury or a crash. Maybe you've had a close call or an actual run-in with a car. Or maybe you're just not feeling it. And whatever it is, I think it's important to know that it happens to basically everyone, and there are things we can do to help limit the struggle. I wanted to take this Coffee Ride Chit Chat to share a little bit about my experience with how I've gone in and out of anxiety around cycling and what I've done to help make it better. And hopefully you'll find some value in these things as well. While I've only been riding for a little over 2 years, I've actually had a couple pretty sizable bouts of cycling-related anxiety. And so these are some of the things that I learned through this work that you might find helpful if you're struggling as well. The first thing is to know that you're not alone. Everybody struggles with anxiety. Really, everyone. Anxiety can feel scary, and even more so if you feel like you're alone in it. So it's important to know that you're not. Once you've admitted to yourself that you're not alone, and that it's okay to be feeling the way that you feel, I think the next step that most of us cyclists tend to forget, or maybe not even really believe, is that it's okay to take a break. You don't have to be riding every single day. And truly, taking a break is actually better for your fitness. So even if it's already been a couple days, it's okay to not ride today. It's okay to take a break, especially for your mental health. Sometimes if the anxiety is too high, it's really not worth trying to push through, because then it kind of associates the feelings of anxiety with riding even more. And the more you create that association, the less you're going to want to ride. So once you've taken an adequate break and you're ready to actually start working on getting back on the bike, one of the most powerful things you can do if you're still feeling anxious is to get really specific. Anxiety, a lot like shame, likes to hide in places where it can't be properly identified. There's just kind of an overwhelming sense that everything is awful. And if we can pinpoint what exactly about riding, or really whatever it is in life that's making us feel anxious, we can be more empowered to work with that thing. And truly, if we can identify exactly where the anxiety is, we also get a really clear picture of where the anxiety is not. And then we can focus on using those parts of cycling that we really enjoy to kind of slowly work our way back. Understanding what's causing the anxiety specifically is really a big step in understanding how to work with it. You have a strong sense of what's really going on, you can work with it more easily. And I think the next thing that's kind of true regardless of what's causing the anxiety is you have to take the pressure off. When you take the pressure off, you can start to find ways to engage with cycling just for the fun and the love and the joy of cycling again, and not to fulfill some piece of your identity or to fulfill some expectations of your community. Really just riding because you love it. After you've worked through these aspects of lowering the amount of pressure, sometimes that's still not quite enough. And so it can be helpful to incentivize. If you watched my Cycling with Kids video, you know that incentivizing rides is a really important way to get kids on their bikes. We can use the same tactics with ourselves. The human system responds extremely well to gamifying things. So if there's something that you want to do, but you're struggling to get it done, setting it up as a game with a reward at the end can help you kind of bridge that gap. One of the things that really helped me in both of the times where I was experiencing a lot of anxiety around the bike was just mixing things up. If you're always riding the same style of rides, or if you're always riding in the same places, things can feel stale and less fun. Not to mention, if any of those places are related to the anxiety that you're feeling, it can be harder to want to go back there. And then finally, maybe the most important thing to getting yourself out of these anxiety cycles is don't let yourself get into one. That is much easier said than done, but there's something really valuable in noticing your triggers and working with them before they become a problem. So being mindful to not overtrain or overcommit yourself. Essentially, using all of these tips before you get into an anxious spot where you really can't ride. And aside from using these tips in that way, the best thing you can do to keep yourself out of this anxious mess is to remember that bikes are fun. This is supposed to be an enjoyable activity, regardless of how you use it. The bottom line is, it's gotta be fun. It's gotta be something that you really truly enjoy. Being mindful to stay connected to that joy is the best way to keep yourself from falling into these anxious pits. And reconnecting to that joy is the best thing to get you out of them. Because let's be honest, bikes are fucking awesome. And that's why we ride. That's why we continue to put ourselves through this much pain and strife and suffering on these ridiculous machines. We love it. There's a sense of freedom and joy and aliveness that you can't really get anywhere else. And I would just hate it if anybody missed out on the joy of bikes. So there you have it. That's really my why for this whole video, is I would hate it if anybody missed out on the joy of bikes because cycling was causing anxiety. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If there's anything that you really enjoyed or learned from it, be sure to click the like button. Drop a comment and let me know how you work with anxiety around cycling. And don't forget to subscribe, ding the bell for notifications so you know when the next video is coming out. The whole ride back from the coffee shop is uphill, and it's getting me today. I got too excited talking, and now I gotta work. So thank you again for watching, and I hope that this is helpful and is supportive in your cycling journey, and I'll see y'all in the next one.